Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about, in my opinion, what I think are the 5 best zodiac signs. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, well, at number 5, I have Taurus. Taurus has an influence over others. I mean, that's very calming. They often calm other people. They're like a human tranquilizer, basically. Their nature is very tranquil and peaceful. They have tremendous loyalty and steadfastness that may be unsurpassed. Also, Taurus people are very patient. Which can enable them to do well in customer service type jobs. Taurus also may stay in relationships for a protracted period of time, ones that may be even detrimental to them, longer than most, but out of sheer loyalty. And count on Taurus also to be very stable and not vacillate as much as other signs. Generally, what you see is what you get with Taurus. You get consistency, steadfastness, reliability. Some others may see Taurus as dull, overly monotonous, but the people that truly appreciate Taurus understand what they're really about and see the good attributes in them as far as them being very consistent. You know what you can get from Taurus, and you don't have to worry about them too much as far as wide mood swings or deviating from who they are from one day to the next. They're very consistent as far as their personality goes. And if you want a job done accurately, Taurus is the person to do it. And also, despite being a fixed sign, Taurus has a very mellow, easygoing side and generally doesn't go around looking for trouble. Taurus, I mean, people are often very composed and sometimes nearly unflappable. You look at in football, for example, Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski has the sun in Taurus, and I mean, he comes through so much in the clutch for the Patriots, it's not even funny. He's very calm and unflappable. I mean, you talk about a composed bulldozer of strength. That is exactly what Rob Gronkowski is. And another person that is like that in the NFL has Taurus rising. That is quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who seems, I mean, to really thrive under pressure. And you talk about being calm as a cucumber in pressure situations when he's under duress and he's trying to throw the ball. He just, I mean, it's very, he'll just, I mean, do whatever he has to do and isn't one to really get panic stricken or become overly frantic or really nervous or what have you in pressure situations. He's like Rob Gronkowski, very unflappable, has tremendous composure and calmness, and does not end. I mean, they have their qualities, fixed signs that just simply they do not become, very rarely hysterical, or very rarely do they become really frazzled or flustered under pressure. So anyway. And also, Taurus stays with projects with much persistence and perseverance. Now, anyway, the next sign I'm going to talk about, I like as far as the 4th favorite zodiac sign. Ironically enough, Cancer is the 4th zodiac sign in the order of the signs. So, ironically, I choose them as number 4 overall as my 4th best zodiac sign. Now, Cancer is a sign, despite being somewhat temperamental and fickle and accused of being overly emotional at times, Cancer can also be very sympathetic, nurturing, and caring. They could be very protective of their family and their loved ones. And also, I mean, this is really, they're one of the biggest rescuers of the zodiac, if not the biggest. And Cancer often remembers those when other people may forget about those people. Cancer is a very retentive memory, and they will, I mean, admittedly, I mean, I have a son in Cancer. Cancer can remember the negatives that somebody may do to them, but they'll also remember the positive moments very strongly as well. And The thing about Cancer is too, despite not being ruled by Venus, I really believe that Cancer, on average, as far as that zodiac sign Cancer goes, may unequivocally love more than any of the other zodiac signs. And the reason, I mean, you have to understand the reason that Cancer is so sensitive and they get hurt so easily. I think a lot of that is attributed to the fact that they put so much into their relationships and into friendships. They put all this energy and this support that they're willing to give people, whether it's moral support, emotional support, or what have you. And then if what happens is if they're betrayed by these same people, I mean, it is just like devastating to them. It is like really, it is something almost like, you know, like something catastrophic to them, more so than the average person, because of this, because they're thinking, I invested all this time in this relationship and friendship, and look what the person did to me. So that is that really plays a role, I think, in Cancer's strong sensitivity. Now, I mean, as I stated before, Cancer can be a very strong family defender, which I really love about this zodiac sign. And the thing about it is, you know, I've talked about previously how a lot of times, like, you'll have actors and actresses that sometimes, at least on a subconscious level, if not conscious level, can be drawn toward acting roles that correspond with their astrological natures and energy. Now, you look at Sylvester Stallone, for example, who was in the, you know, the Rocky renown. He was in the Rocky series, and there was one scene when somebody was, you know, calling him out to fight or what have you, and he just walked away, or was trying to walk away. Then the same person that was calling him out wound up pushing one of his family members, assaulted one of his family members, and basically the gloves were off at that point in time, figuratively speaking, if you know what I'm saying. He basically walked toward the person and was ready to fight him at that time. Cancer is generally can be very passive, submissive, and timid. They're ones that really generally aren't that confrontational, but if you mess with one of their family members, you'll find out that inner strength that Cancer certainly does have, and it shows if you mess with one of their family members. So they are very strong family defenders, and that's another reason I think they're one of the best zodiac signs. Now, and even, I mean, the men might even be a little bit motherly, have motherly qualities, and can be and show a nurturing way about them, I would think. And now, also too, though, what I think is the thing about Cancer as well, I mean, remember that they're also the sign of life-giving and procreation. I wasn't really flabbergasted or in a state of shock when I found out that the Octomom has her son in Cancer. And I think she's got like 14 kids overall total, or some number close to that. So anyway, well, the next sign I want to talk about, as far as one of my favorite zodiac signs, is number 3, is Aquarius. Now, the thing about Aquarius, what I think of is what I love about this sign is that Aquarius is very progressive, future-oriented, innovative, and ingenious. Without Aquarius, we certainly would have much fewer inventions. Aquarius is also a sign that is very non-conforming. They're generally not about being sheep. They don't necessarily are going to go with what everybody else does. Just because you have a majority of people doing it, they won't be coerced. They often won't be coerced by others and to do something a certain way just because a consensus or a strong majority do. They go to the beat of their own drum. And the thing about it too is that Aquarians will often do things that others are afraid to do. You take Aquarius' son, Nick Wallenda, for example. He became the first person to tightrope across the Grand Canyon without netting. And you take another person too, though the rating may not be great on Astro.com, it wouldn't surprise me if he does have Aquarius rising, renowned escape artist Harry Houdini. You know, it was like a C rating or something similar to on Astro.com, and as far as the chart rating and birth data. But I mean, he was like a tremendous escape artist, and he certainly was somebody that would do these daring things others may see as foolhardy, and do it and not be afraid to do so. As far as innovators go, I mean, Thomas Edison Aquarius Sun is somebody that certainly comes to mind. He had so many patents on so many different innovations, inventions, it's not even funny. And also, Chester Carlson, a Sun in Aquarius, was an innovator as well, and he invented the xerographic copier. So, and he had it, as I stated before, an Aquarius Sun. Now, also, I mean, people can still be revolutionary without necessarily inventing anything. I mean, you take these great sports athletes, for example, that had Aquarius prominent in their charts or have Aquarius prominent in their charts. You look at Michael Jordan. I mean, he arguably revolutionized the game of basketball more so than any other person in the history of the NBA. You take Stephon Curry, who has an Aquarius moon, and I think he is revolutionizing the game in a certain way. I mean, it's a little bit more subtle and quieter than what Michael Jordan did, and maybe on a smaller scale. But Stephon Curry, I mean, he's about taking, I mean, he'll take 40-foot shots in such a nonchalant manner and shoot at for those shots, a pretty high percentage. And I mean, throw baskets in from mid-court, like it's no big deal. And it's really, I mean, you look at also another good example, Muhammad Ali, legendary boxer Muhammad Ali, who of course is the late great fighter. He had an Aquarius moon, and I mean, I think he revolutionized the sport of boxing. I mean, he would fight with such lightning speed and agility, and he added some finesse into the fighting arena that really might have been lacked previously. So, I mean, yes, he was flamboyant. He had a Leo Ascendant, as many of you may know, and he boasted a lot, but he backed up his talk in the ring. Now, also Babe Ruth is another good example, Sun in Aquarius, and he may have very well revolutionized the game of baseball at a time also when America was like in their depression. I mean, he was out homering baseball teams. He brought power into the league, and he showed that, I mean, I think what he did was he was very inspirational and encouraged others to perhaps hit for power more, and really he really opened the doors, I think, for other people to say, okay, I don't have to just get singles, doubles, triples. I mean, I could go out and be a power hitter as well. So anyway, and also I want to get now to what I think is the second best zodiac sign, and I think I go with Sagittarius in that spot. Sagittarius, of course, is a sign that is very expansive, upbeat, and optimistic. They're also so good at telling jokes. They often are the practical jokers, but generally it's very rarely malicious when they do that. Somebody one time, it was a Sagittarius Sun person, put a pair of, I think it was like some fake handcuffs on me or something. They're notorious for practical jokes. And they could even liven up the most despondent or disconsolate group of people. They could be seen as those pepper-uppers of the zodiac, so to speak. Their positive energy and optimistic nature often generates good luck for themselves. They somehow, their benign and benevolent nature often brings the right people there to help them. And if Sagittarius, isn't lucky just doing things on their own, they often can have the propensity to bring those people to them that can help them out in a pinch. So anyway, I think too, they often instill the power of positive thinking in others. NFL head coach Rex Ryan is a great example. I mean, Sagittarius can be the incorrigible optimist. The head coach Rex Ryan, I mean, there in his first season with the Jets, I mean, he went out and said, hey, we should be the favorites, referring to his Jets. And I think the Jets went in at like a 5 or 6 seed. They were 9-7. But I mean, I really don't believe he actually felt that, but I think he said that in order to encourage his team and give them incentive, and also maybe try to give the Jets some psychological edge. And actually, maybe it worked because it brought them all the way to the AFC title game that season. So anyway, and also Sagittarians can also be excellent motivational speakers. They're often enamored also with the outdoors and exercise, which of course could be very good in terms of promoting good mental and physical health. They can also encourage even the most introverted people to exercise vigorously and get more time outside in the outdoors. They and I think they could be very beneficial to signs say such as Taurus or Cancer, who they may not be compatible with astrologically, but they could still do things that are advantageous for those more introverted people, I think. So anyway, well, the last but not least, what I want to get to is what I think is the best zodiac sign. If I had to pick one, I will go with the zodiac sign Libra. Libra, I mean, to me, of course, sign of the scales, they're often very balanced, equitable, and fair-minded. They could often make awesome diplomats. They can be great at reconciliation and compromise. And also their even temperament is something I like about them as well. They generally don't let their personal issues get to them, and they're still able to perform their task, whatever it is they need to do, regardless of what's going on in their personal lives. Now, they're often the mediators of the zodiac. They are, I believe they are the best at settling a dispute between mutual friends. I also see Libra as being the consummate team player. And this could be, applied in a job, but in sports as well. You take NFL quarterback Tom Brady, who has a Libra ascendant of the New England Patriots. I mean, he strikes me as somebody that really knows how to disperse the ball evenly to the various teammates, but of course proportionately with talent. You have someone like a Rob Gronkowski on your team, you're obviously going to command the ball a little bit more than the average player, and I respect and understand that. But the thing about it, too, is that being an air sign, they're also, I believe, one of the smarter signs of the zodiac on average. And I think what's interesting, I saw former NBA player Chauncey Billups, many of you may have heard of him. They could be, Libras could be, somewhat shrewd, and they're also very intelligent. And I don't see them on average being as smart as Aquarius or Gemini, but I don't think they're far behind on average. Chauncey Billups did a great play one time, very shrewd. He inbounded a ball off Kobe Bryant's back, and he went in, and after he bounced off Kobe's back, he went in for the basket. So Libras are very, can be very smart. Brett Favre has a son in Libra. He was a former NFL quarterback. Another thing, too, is that Libra often epitomizes tact and diplomacy, and even if they disagree with someone, they could often do this in a rather constructive manner and not destructive, and not be disparaging when they disagree with someone or make somebody feel like they're dumb or demean the person in the process or demoralize them. They generally will not do that. If they disagree with somebody, they're still often going to listen to what the other person has to say. I think Libras can often excel in law enforcement because they often abhor injustice, generally speaking. And also they can make outstanding, phenomenal actors, actresses, artists. Harrison Ford has a Libra ascendant, very good actor, of course. I think Mark Hamill, if I'm not mistaken, who was in Star Wars as well, the original Star Wars movies, he has a Libra sun, if I'm not mistaken. Also, they can make stupendous parents, especially when they have multiple children, because they can be very equitable and fair-minded and disperse their time evenly with their children and disperse whatever it is, the purchases of gifts for them, etc., etc. So anyway, and also that Libra, I think, is arguably the most attractive zodiac sign on average. Some great examples, I think, are singer Crystal Gayle, who has a Libra ascendant, Bianca Beauchamp, who has a Libra sun, and singer-actress Alicia Keys, who has a Libra moon. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for what I believe are the 5 best zodiac signs. Stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about Aquarius celebrities. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.